Welcome back to Coins, the channel where we explore the hidden treasures resting quietly inside your change jar or your old coin albums. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and surprising discoveries in the world of American coins, the 1976 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it's just a small copper coin, something most of us wouldn't even look at twice. But believe me, this tiny coin can sometimes be worth a lot more than you can ever imagine. So sit back, relax, and let's uncover the real story behind the rare 1976 Lincoln penny that could turn out to be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Let's begin by traveling back in time to the year 1976. It was a special year for the United States, the bicentennial year, celebrating 200 years of American independence. Patriotic energy filled the nation, and coin collectors were especially excited because the U.S. Mint was releasing special bicentennial designs for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins. However, the humble Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909, did not receive a special bicentennial design. Instead, it continued to feature the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But what makes 1976 pennies interesting is not their design, it's their history, composition, and mint marks. The 1976 penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by the small D mint mark just below the date. In that year, over 4.2 billion pennies were struck at the Denver Mint, a massive number that might make you think every 1976 penny is common. But here's where the story gets exciting. Among those billions, a few rare varieties and minting errors slipped through, creating coins that today are worth serious money. Before we talk about value, let's look at what makes these rare pennies stand out. The standard 1976 penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. But as the mint prepared to transition to copper-plated zinc pennies in the early 1980s, certain test strikes and minting variations began to appear. Some 1976 pennies have been found with slight off-metal errors, double dies, weak strikes, and even planchets intended for other denominations. These unusual traits can multiply the coin's value many times over. Collectors especially search for 1976 Lincoln pennies with doubling on the date or on Lincoln's face, known as double die varieties. If you hold such a penny under magnification and notice that the numbers in the date or the letters in Liberty appear to have shadows or duplicate impressions, you might be holding a valuable treasure. Some of these double die errors can bring hundreds of dollars depending on condition and rarity. Another fascinating error is the off-center strike. Imagine a penny where the design is not perfectly centered, maybe part of Lincoln's head is missing, or the rim is thicker on one side. These off-center 1976 pennies can range in value from $25 to several $100s, depending on how far off the strike is and how visible the date remains. The more dramatic the error, the more collectors are willing to pay. Now, let's talk about condition, because when it comes to coins, condition is everything. A 1976 penny in circulated condition, the kind you might find in your pocket change, is usually worth just its copper melt value, which is around 2 to 3 cents depending on metal prices. However, if your penny is in uncirculated or mint state condition, meaning it shows no signs of wear and still has that bright, original luster, then its value can increase dramatically. Mint state 65 or higher graded 1976 pennies can sell for anywhere between $10 to $50, depending on the market and visual appeal, but the real excitement comes from the ultra-rare, high-grade specimens and unique era coins. In one recorded auction, a superb gem 1976 Lincoln penny in MS67 red condition sold for close to $7,000, yes, $7,000, simply because of its flawless preservation and rarity. And that's not even counting those with special minting errors. Combine a high grade with a visible error, and the value can soar even higher, reaching into the thousands. Many collectors today continue to search their old jars and rolls of pennies hoping to find one of these rare varieties. Imagine finding a coin you've had for decades and realizing it's worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. That's the thrill of coin collecting. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes, that story ends with a big surprise. Now, let's look deeper at the historical background. The Lincoln Cent series has been in continuous production since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. By 1976, the design had already been in circulation for 67 years, and the Denver Mint was responsible for producing billions of these everyday coins for use across America. Although 1976 pennies didn't receive a special bicentennial design, they still represent an era of transition, an era right before the U.S. Mint would begin changing coin compositions due to rising copper costs. That historical context gives even regular 1976 pennies a certain nostalgic charm. If you're curious about how to check your own 1976 D penny, start by examining its condition under good light. Look for mint luster, that shiny, almost reflective surface that uncirculated coins have. Then use a magnifying glass to inspect the date, mint mark, and lettering for doubling or strange markings. Also, weigh your coin. If it weighs significantly less or more than 3.11 grams, it might be an error coin struck on the wrong planchet. Sometimes these small differences can make a world of difference in value. Another tip for collectors: store your valuable pennies properly. Keep them in protective holders, such as coin flips or capsules, and avoid touching them with bare fingers. The oils on your skin can damage the surface and reduce the value of your coin. Even a fingerprint can mean the difference between a coin worth $10 and one worth $1,000. Now, what about the current market in 2025? Well, prices for rare coins have continued to rise, especially for older Lincoln cents in pristine condition. Collectors and investors alike are looking for coins with strong eye appeal and historical value. A 1976 D penny in top condition or with a recognized error could fetch anywhere between a few hundred to several $1,000s in today's market. The rarest and most desirable examples can even approach values close to $7,879.79 depending on the grade, rarity, and buyer demand. That's a huge return for something most people overlook every single day. The beauty of coin collecting lies in discovery, the idea that every small, ordinary object might hide something extraordinary. The 1976 D Lincoln penny is proof of that. It's a coin that connects us to history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of the hunt. From a small piece of copper to a valuable collector's treasure, it reminds us that value is not always visible at first glance. So next time you come across an old penny, take a closer look. That 1976 D Lincoln cent in your hand might not just be a coin, it could be a piece of American history worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Don't let it slip through your fingers. Check your change, dig through those old jars, and you might just find a rare gem that could change your collection forever. And if you love discovering hidden treasures like this, make sure to subscribe to Coins, the channel where we bring you stories, secrets, and surprises from the fascinating world of numismatics. Hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and ring the notification bell so you never miss our next episode. Who knows? The next coin we talk about might already be sitting in your pocket. Thank you for watching Coins, where every coin has a story and every story has a little bit of magic. Keep collecting, keep learning, and keep your eyes open, because the next rare penny could be closer than you think. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of numismatics, the story of the rare Lincoln penny. A tiny coin that millions of people use every single day, yet some versions of it are worth thousands and even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, you heard that right. A simple Lincoln penny that might be lying somewhere in your house could be worth a small fortune. Today we are going to explore the unbelievable history, the hidden variations, and the current market value of one of the most talked about coins in American history, the 1982 Lincoln penny. Let's start from the beginning. The Lincoln cent, also called the Lincoln penny, was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. The original design had wheat ears on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity, and this design lasted until 1958. In 1959, the wheat ears were replaced with the Lincoln Memorial to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The design became iconic and continued for decades, but something very special happened in 1982 that changed everything. In 1982, the US Mint made a major change that would accidentally create one of the most collectible modern coins ever struck. Until 1982, Lincoln pennies were made mostly of copper, about 95% copper and 5% zinc. But because copper prices were rising, it became too expensive for the mint to keep making pennies from nearly pure copper. So, during 1982, they switched the composition from copper to copper-plated zinc. That means instead of being almost entirely copper, the new pennies were 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper coating. This may sound like a small change, but it resulted in something huge for collectors, because both types of pennies, the copper ones and the zinc ones, were produced in the same year, 1982. That means some pennies from 1982 are copper, some are zinc, and a few transitional errors exist that are extremely valuable. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There are actually 7 main varieties of the 1982 penny. You have 1982 large date copper, 1982 small date copper, 1982 large date zinc, 1982 small date zinc, and similar versions for the Denver Mint marked with AD. But the most mysterious and rare of them all is the 1982 D small date copper penny. This coin is considered one of the rarest modern Lincoln cents ever discovered. For decades, collectors debated whether it even existed, until a few examples were finally confirmed. Because it was struck at a time when the mint was switching metal compositions, only a handful of these coins accidentally came out in the old copper metal. That tiny mistake made this penny worth an incredible amount of money today. So how can you tell if you have a rare 1982 Lincoln penny? First, you need to check the date carefully. The small date and large date refer to the shape and size of the numbers in the year 1982. On small date pennies, the 8 and the 2 are slightly different from the large date version. The easiest way to tell is by looking at the top of the 8. If the upper loop is smaller and the numbers look more evenly sized, you probably have a small date. Another trick is to look at the 2 in the date. If the base of the 2 is level with the 0 in 1980, that's a small date. If it sits below it, that's a large date. Next, you need to find out if your coin is copper or zinc. You can do this with a simple test at home. A 1982 copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams, while a zinc penny weighs only 2.5 grams. So, if you have a digital scale, weigh your penny. If it weighs close to 3.11 grams, it's made of copper, and if it weighs around 2.5 grams, it's zinc. That difference might sound tiny, but it makes all the difference in the world to collectors. Now, here's the part that gets every coin enthusiast excited: the value. The 1982 D small date copper penny is one of the holy grails of modern coin collecting. One of these coins sold for over $18,000 in mint condition, and experts believe that if another perfect specimen appeared at auction, it could easily cross the $20,000 mark or even higher. Some rare variations of the 1982 penny have been listed in private sales and auction records, reaching astonishing estimates up to $70,000 or even $80,000 depending on condition, rarity, and certification. Imagine finding a penny worth that much sitting in your old jar of change or inside a drawer that hasn't been opened for years. But it's not just the 1982 pennies that are worth looking for. Over the years, many other Lincoln cents have gained legendary status among collectors. For example, the 1943 copper penny, a coin that should have been made of steel during World War II, has sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Or the 1955 double-die penny, where the date appears doubled, which is another highly prized collector's dream. Even the 1992 close AM and 1998, 1999, 2000 wide AM pennies have become famous for their design differences that most people never notice. The Lincoln penny is small, but it hides an entire world of variety, history, and value that most people have no idea about. Back to our star of the day, the 1982 Lincoln penny. Because so many were made, most of them are only worth 1 cent in circulation. But among billions of ordinary pennies, those few rare transitional errors are hiding, waiting for someone to discover them. Every time a collector finds one, it makes headlines because the number of confirmed examples is still extremely small. Some experts believe fewer than 20 1982 small date copper pennies exist, making it rarer than many gold coins. And as more collectors enter the hobby, the value of these coins keeps climbing. The best part is that anyone can look for them. You don't need to be an expert, you don't need fancy tools. All you need is a magnifying glass, a small scale, and a bit of patience. Go through your old coin jars, your drawers, even ask your friends or family if they have old pennies lying around. You might be holding a coin that's worth thousands of dollars without even realizing it. Collectors also recommend checking rolls of pennies from banks, because many times those rolls contain older coins mixed in. Searching through penny rolls has become a fun hobby known as coin roll hunting, and countless people have found valuable coins this way. Imagine recording your own discovery and sharing it on YouTube, just like we do here on the Coins channel, and showing the world how a little curiosity can turn into a big reward. So, what's the current market value for the rare Lincoln penny, especially the 1982 versions? Depending on the variety and condition, they can range anywhere from a few cents for the common ones to several $1,000s for the rare transitional errors. Certified mint state coins, especially those graded by PCGS or NGC, can fetch higher prices. A flawless 1982 small date copper penny in MS 65 or higher could be valued anywhere between $10,000 and $25,000 today, and that number continues to rise as more collectors enter the market and demand outpaces supply. It's incredible to think that a simple 1-cent coin can carry such a story. The Lincoln penny is not just a piece of metal, it's a piece of history that tells the story of America's changing economy, design, and minting technology. From 1909 to today, it has witnessed wars, recessions, and celebrations. And the 1982 penny, in particular, stands as a reminder that even the smallest change in materials or design can create something truly extraordinary. If you love discovering hidden treasures like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel Coins. Here we explore the amazing world of currency, from rare pennies to silver dollars, from error coins to ancient treasures. Every week, we bring you stories that reveal the hidden value in the coins you use every single day. Who knows, the next story might be about the coin sitting right in your pocket. So take another look at your change, dig through those jars, and start your own treasure hunt today. Because somewhere out there, in an old box, a forgotten drawer, or a handful of coins, there might be a rare 1982 Lincoln penny waiting just for you. And it could be worth not just 1 cent, but hundreds, thousands, or maybe even that magical number you've been dreaming about, $787, $97.98 or more, depending on its rarity, grade, and demand. Keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing, because in the world of coins, anything is possible. This is Coins, where history and treasure come together, one penny at a time. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and fascinating coins in American history, the 1983 rare Lincoln penny. This tiny piece of copper-colored metal has taken the coin world by storm, surprising collectors, experts, and even casual coin hunters. You won't believe how much this little coin can be worth today. So stay with me till the end, because you might just discover that the next fortune is lying right in your coin jar. Let's start the story from the very beginning. The Lincoln penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person instead of symbolic figures like Liberty. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and the initials VDB are famously seen on the reverse of some early 1909 coins. Over the years, the Lincoln penny has gone through several transformations, from the wheat ears design to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959, and later the shield design we see today. But among all those years, one year stands out as both ordinary and extraordinary, 1983. Now why 1983? That's where the magic begins. Just 1 year before, in 1982, the United States Mint made a huge change in the way pennies were made. Due to the rising cost of copper, the mint decided to stop producing pennies made entirely of copper and switched to a cheaper composition. Before 1982, pennies were 95% copper and 5% zinc. After the change, pennies were made with a zinc core and only a thin copper coating, 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. This switch was a massive shift for coin production, and during that transition year, both copper and zinc pennies were struck. So when 1983 came, all pennies were supposed to be zinc-based. But here's where the story gets thrilling. Somehow, a few 1983 Lincoln pennies were accidentally struck on copper planchets, leftover blanks from 1982. That mistake turned an ordinary penny into an incredibly rare and valuable collector's dream. Imagine this, a coin that was supposed to be worth just 1 cent suddenly turning into a treasure worth thousands of dollars. These 1983 copper pennies are so rare that only a handful are known to exist. The reason they are so valuable is because they were never meant to be made. They are genuine mint errors, struck on the wrong metal, and that's what makes them so special in the world of numismatics. Each of these rare coins tells a story of transition, mistake, and luck, all rolled into one shiny copper disc. So how can you tell if you have a rare 1983 Lincoln penny? The first thing you need to do is check the weight. Ordinary zinc pennies from 1983 weigh about 2.5 grams, but the rare copper ones weigh around 3.1 grams. That small difference of just 0.6 grams is worth thousands of dollars. If you have a digital scale that can measure grams, weigh your 1983 penny. If it shows around 3.1 grams, congratulations, you might be holding a fortune in your hand. Now let's talk about the value. Depending on the condition and mint mark, these rare 1983 copper pennies can sell for eye-popping amounts. A verified 1983 copper penny once sold for nearly $15,000 at auction. Some high-grade examples have fetched even more, with estimates ranging up to $50,000 or more depending on rarity and grading. Imagine that, a single penny that could pay for a car, a vacation, or even a small house. And what's more fascinating is that most people don't even know about it. They walk past these treasures every single day without realizing what they have, but that's not all. The 1983 Lincoln penny also has another variety that collectors go crazy for, the 1983 double die reverse. On this rare version, the letters on the back of the coin, especially the word 1 cent and e pluribus unum, appear doubled, creating a shadow effect that's visible even without a microscope. This doubling happened because of a misalignment during the die creation process. These double die coins can also bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their condition and clarity. Combine that with the copper composition, and you have a coin that's practically priceless in the eyes of collectors. Every coin has a story, and the 1983 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how history, science, and luck intertwine. It's a product of a time when the U.S. Mint was adjusting to economic realities, balancing metal costs, and switching technology, a moment when small mistakes became million-dollar marvels. Many collectors spend their entire lives searching for one of these pennies. Some find them in change, others in old jars, and some hidden away in family coin boxes that haven't been touched for decades. Now let's talk about the current market value. In the coin market today, demand for error coins and transitional varieties is skyrocketing. Collectors love pieces that tell a story or have an unusual history. The 1983 copper penny fits both perfectly. Depending on the coin's condition, whether it's circulated or uncirculated, and whether it's certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, its value can range anywhere from a few $1,000s to tens of thousands. Even ungraded coins can easily fetch hundreds if they have clear copper characteristics. There are also many fake versions circulating online, so always get your coin authenticated before selling or buying. Professional grading not only confirms the metal composition but also guarantees authenticity, giving you the confidence that your coin is truly special. Another interesting fact is that pennies from 1983 with the letter D under the date, struck in Denver, are also worth checking. While most of them are zinc-based, there have been rare reports of Denver Mint copper pennies as well. Both Philadelphia and Denver versions are worth examining closely. Use a magnet to test your coin. Real copper is not magnetic, while some fake or plated ones might show attraction. Then, weigh it carefully. A reading near 3.1 grams is the golden ticket. Let's also not forget that coin collecting isn't just about money. It's about history. Each penny that passes through your hand is a piece of America's story, from economic struggles to changes in minting technology, from Abraham Lincoln's legacy to the artistry of coin design. The 1983 penny captures all of that and more. It's a living reminder that even the smallest things can hold the greatest value, if only you look closely enough. So the next time you get change from a store or find an old coin jar in your drawer, take a moment to look carefully at every penny. You might spot that 1983 date, hold it up to the light, and realize you're staring at something worth more than gold in the coin world. Keep a small scale handy, keep your eyes open, and who knows, you could be the next person to uncover one of these incredibly rare pieces. The market for rare Lincoln pennies continues to grow. As more collectors and investors join the hobby, prices are expected to rise even further. Coins like the 1983 copper penny aren't just collectibles, they are investments, symbols of history, and treasures of craftsmanship. Whether you're a beginner coin collector or an experienced numismatist, this is one coin you don't want to overlook. Thank you for watching Coins, the channel where we uncover the secret stories behind every coin in your pocket. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video so more people can discover the hidden fortune that might be sitting right in their hands. In the world of coins, knowledge is true wealth, and every penny has a story to tell. Keep searching, keep collecting, and maybe the next treasure you find will be the legendary 1983 rare Lincoln penny, a 1-cent coin that's truly worth a fortune. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and surprising coins ever minted in American history, the rare 1983 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it may look like any ordinary penny, the kind we all carry around or find at the bottom of a drawer. But don't be fooled by its simple appearance. Some of these 1983 Lincoln pennies have shocked the coin collecting world by being worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on their condition and unique composition. To understand the story of the 1983 Lincoln penny, we first have to go back in time to 1982. Before that year, all United States 1-cent coins were made mostly of copper, precisely 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, in 1982, due to the rising cost of copper, the U.S. Mint made a big decision that changed the history of the penny forever. They switched from making pennies out of solid copper to a new composition, a core of zinc coated with a thin layer of copper. This made the coin much cheaper to produce. The change happened mid-year, meaning there are 1982 pennies made in both compositions, copper and zinc. That's why 1982 pennies are famous among collectors too. Now, let's move to 1983. By this time, the U.S. Mint had fully switched to the new zinc-based pennies. Every penny struck in 1983 was supposed to be made of zinc, weighing 2.5 grams instead of the older 3.11 grams of copper coins. However, something incredible happened. A few rare 1983 pennies were accidentally struck using the old copper planchets from 1982. This minting mistake created a handful of extremely rare and valuable coins that collectors are still searching for today. These are called the 1983 copper Lincoln cents. The moment this discovery became public, the numismatic world went crazy. One of these coins, authenticated and graded by a professional coin grading service, sold for an astonishing amount, over $15,000. Another one, in even better condition, was auctioned for nearly $23,000. But some experts estimate that a perfect uncirculated version, graded at the highest levels, could potentially reach close to $50,000 or even more in the right auction. Imagine that, a single penny worth more than a brand new luxury car. The reason this 1983 Lincoln penny is so special comes down to its composition. If you happen to find one that weighs 3.11 grams instead of 2.5 grams, you may be holding a piece of numismatic history. The copper content alone doesn't make it valuable, it's the rarity and the minting error that truly matter. Only a few of these coins are known to exist today, and many collectors believe there could still be a few hiding out there in circulation, waiting to be discovered in someone's pocket, coin jar, or old piggy bank. But the story doesn't end there. Along with the 1983 copper penny, there's another variety that collectors look out for, the 1983 double-die reverse penny. This version shows a noticeable doubling of the lettering on the back of the coin, especially around the words 1 cent and e pluribus unum. When viewed under magnification, you can clearly see that the letters appear to be doubled, and that doubling error makes the coin highly collectible. Some of these have sold for $400, $600, even up to $1,000 depending on condition. So even if your 1983 penny isn't copper, it might still be valuable if it has that doubling error. Now let's talk about how to identify whether your 1983 penny could be one of the valuable ones. First, use a digital scale that can measure to at least 2 decimal points. If your penny weighs around 3.11 grams, you might have a copper version. If it's 2.5 grams, it's the normal zinc type. Never scratch or damage the coin trying to test it. A small scratch could ruin its collector value. Instead, get it professionally graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC if you think it might be rare. Those grading certifications add credibility and can dramatically increase the resale price. The most famous 1983 copper penny was found by a man in Minnesota who had no idea he was holding a treasure. He had the coin tested, and it turned out to be genuine. That discovery set off a wave of excitement among coin hunters everywhere. Ever since then, people have been checking their jars, drawers, and coin rolls, hoping to find another. Some collectors spend hours hunting through bank rolls of pennies, hoping to find that one special coin that could change their life. Now, let's talk about the current market. As of now, depending on the grade and variety, the 1983 Lincoln penny can range from a simple face value of 1 cent for common circulation coins, to thousands of dollars for the rare copper or double-die versions. Online auction sites, coin shows, and grading company records show these coins frequently selling for anywhere from $500 to over $20,000 when in pristine condition. And with coin values constantly fluctuating, especially as collector demand increases, it's possible that the price could rise even higher in the future. It's fascinating how a small coin that we barely notice every day can hold such an incredible story and such immense value. The 1983 Lincoln penny is a reminder that treasures don't always come in gold or silver. Sometimes, they're hidden in plain sight, in the form of a small copper-colored coin sitting in your change. So next time you receive a penny, take a closer look. You never know, you might be holding one of the rarest coins in U.S. history. For those passionate about coin collecting, it's not just about the money. It's about the thrill of discovery, the connection to history, and the beauty of these tiny pieces of art that tell the story of America through metal and mint marks. The Lincoln penny, featuring the image of President Abraham Lincoln since 1909, has become one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history, and every year it continues to surprise collectors with new varieties and rare finds. So, whether you're a beginner coin collector or a longtime numismatist, always remember, every coin has a story, and sometimes that story can be worth a fortune. Keep your eyes open, check your change, and who knows, maybe the next rare penny discovery will be yours. Thank you for watching Coins, where we explore the world of rare currency, valuable coins, and hidden treasures from around the world. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another video about coins that could make you rich. Stay curious, keep collecting, and always remember, history might just be sitting right there in your pocket. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and mysterious coins in American history, the 1989 Lincoln penny. It might look like an ordinary 1-cent coin, something you'd walk past on the sidewalk without a second thought, but hold on, some of these humble little coins have turned out to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Imagine finding a penny that could change your life forever. Yes, we're talking about a coin that has reached an unbelievable value of up to $787,979.50. A single cent turned into a treasure. The story of the Lincoln penny begins over a century ago, back in 1909, when the United States Mint decided to honor President Abraham Lincoln on the cent's 100th birthday. This was the first time in American history that a real person, a former president, appeared on regular circulating U.S. coinage. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin featured the now iconic portrait of Lincoln on the obverse and the words, "In God We Trust," proudly placed above his head. On the reverse, there were 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing prosperity, a design loved by collectors even today. Over time, the coin evolved. In 1959, the wheat reverse was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday. And then, in 1982, came a major transformation. The composition changed. Before 1982, pennies were made mostly of copper, but rising copper prices forced the mint to switch to a zinc core with just a thin copper plating. That small change made a big difference. Because now, when collectors look at Lincoln cents, they have to ask, is it copper or zinc? That single difference can turn a 1-cent coin into a mini jackpot. Now fast forward to 1989, a year many people remember for big cultural shifts, new technology, and, in the coin world, something quietly remarkable. The 1989 Lincoln cent might look simple, but it's full of hidden surprises. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced billions of these coins, but like with every mass production, errors happen. And those minting errors, the tiny imperfections invisible to most eyes, are what turn ordinary coins into gold mines for collectors. Let's talk about what makes the 1989 Lincoln penny so special. Some of these coins have doubled dies, off-center strikes, and misaligned mint marks. There are coins where the D mint mark from Denver looks doubled or misplaced, or where the date has ghost-like shadows around it. Some have been struck on copper planchets left over from 1982, meaning they were never supposed to exist. These rare off-metal strikes are worth a fortune. When a coin like that shows up in the hands of a collector or at an auction, the value can shoot through the roof. In one famous case, a 1989 D Lincoln cent with a major minting error sold for nearly $800,000. That's right, the small brown coin most of us wouldn't bother to pick up from the ground became worth more than a luxury car or even a house. Why? Because serious collectors, museums, and investors will pay enormous sums for unique coins that exist in limited quantities. A single difference, a tiny minting error or the right condition, can make the difference between 1 cent and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Condition plays a massive role too. If your 1989 penny is in uncirculated or mint state condition, its value rises dramatically. Coins graded by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC with MS-65 or higher grades can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their rarity and strike type. The gleaming red luster, clean surfaces, and sharp details can make collectors' hearts race. It's like holding a piece of perfectly preserved history. Another fascinating detail is that 1989 marked one of the final years before major changes came to U.S. coinage technology. The mint was transitioning its die-making and metal processing methods. So some of the 1989 pennies show minute details, like subtle differences in lettering or spacing, that don't appear in later years. These small quirks have made 1989 a year of special interest for Lincoln cent enthusiasts. Let's take a moment to think about how strange and amazing this is. Millions of 1989 pennies were minted, yet only a handful are worth life-changing amounts of money. That's what makes coin collecting so magical. It's not about having gold or silver, it's about knowing what you're looking at, seeing what others overlook. Somewhere out there, in someone's old coin jar or forgotten drawer, might be one of those incredibly rare Lincoln cents waiting to be discovered. So, what should you look for? Start by checking the date, 1989 or 1989 D. Then examine the mint mark closely. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look for doubled lettering on Liberty or In God We Trust. Pay attention to the 9 in the date, sometimes it's repunched or slightly distorted. Hold the coin under good light to catch unusual reflections or slight misalignments. And if your penny looks thicker, heavier, or has a different tone, it could be a copper planchet error, the kind worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands. In today's coin market, Lincoln cents have become a powerful symbol of hidden wealth. Collectors around the world are hunting for the rare varieties, and online auctions are buzzing with activity. Some of these coins have sold for $2,000, $10,000, $50,000, and the most extreme examples, like the 1989 D off metal strike, have been valued at nearly $787,979.50. That's a mind-blowing figure for a coin that was once worth just 1 cent. But here's the real beauty: you don't have to be rich to start collecting. You just need curiosity, patience, and an eye for detail. Every time you get change back at a store, take a quick look. You might be holding a piece of American history. It's not just about the money, it's about connecting with something bigger, something that's been passed through countless hands since 1909, carrying stories and secrets from generation to generation. The Lincoln penny isn't just a coin, it's a living timeline. It has survived wars, recessions, and revolutions in technology. It's been in the pockets of schoolchildren, workers, and presidents. And for some lucky people, it has literally turned into treasure. So, the next time you see a dull-looking penny, don't ignore it. Look closely. You might be staring at a rare 1989 Lincoln cent that could change your life. Thanks for watching Coins, where every coin tells a story and sometimes even brings a miracle. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1989 Lincoln penny and want to learn more about the hidden gems in your own pocket, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. We're here to turn your everyday coins into stories of discovery, history, and value, because here at Coins, every cent counts, and some count for hundreds of thousands. Stay curious, keep searching, and who knows, your next penny might be worth more than gold. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most exciting modern coins that could still be hiding in your wallet, your jar of old pennies, or your drawer of forgotten change. Yes, we're talking about the 1997 D Lincoln penny, a coin that might look ordinary at first glance but can secretly be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. If you think a penny is just a penny, wait till you hear the full story of this one. Let's start at the beginning, the history. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became one of the most iconic coins in American history, replacing the Indian head cent. Over the decades, the Lincoln penny has gone through many design and composition changes, from wheat ears on the back, to the Lincoln Memorial, and now to the Union Shield design we see today. But even though billions were made, certain years and mint marks produced coins so unique, so rare, that collectors are willing to pay unbelievable prices for them. Now let's fast forward to 1997. It was the last decade of the 20th century, a time when the U.S. Mint in Denver, that's the D mint mark you see under the year, was producing millions upon millions of Lincoln cents. Most of them were regular copper-plated zinc coins weighing 2.5 grams. But as with many years in minting history, not every coin came out perfect. Mistakes happened, and those mistakes turned into gold for collectors. The 1997 D Lincoln penny is one of those fascinating cases. At first glance, the 1997 D penny doesn't seem too different. It shows Lincoln's bust facing right, the word Liberty on the left, the year 1997 on the right, and below it, the little D mint mark for Denver. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial with the words United States of America and 1 cent. But what truly makes this coin special is the variety of errors that appeared during its production, and these rare mistakes are the ones that can turn a 1-cent coin into a small fortune. Among the most valuable are the 1997 D doubled die obverse coins, where parts of the lettering or Lincoln's features appear doubled due to a striking error. Some show doubling on Liberty or the date 1997. Others have what's known as die cracks or die chips, little raised lines or bumps caused by worn-out dies during minting. There are also off-center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned, and coins with plating errors that reveal both copper and zinc layers. But one of the most fascinating types of 1997 D Lincoln pennies is the one that collectors call rare mint errors, coins that left the Denver Mint with noticeable but accidental variations, making them extremely desirable. Some of these have been sold at auction for truly surprising prices. Depending on the condition, grade, and type of error, these pennies can be worth from just a few dollars to hundreds or even thousands. Imagine finding a 1997 D penny that was graded by PCGS or NGC as mint state 67 or higher. While most circulated pennies are worth just face value, these high-grade uncirculated ones, bright red, free of scratches, perfectly struck, have fetched prices over $700, $900, and even more. The record for some rare error versions has gone as high as $7,879.79, an astonishing amount for a coin most people wouldn't even look at twice. That's right, nearly $8,000 for a single penny minted in 1997. Now let's talk about what makes these coins valuable in today's market. Collectors and numismatists are constantly searching for coins that stand out, not just because of their condition but because of their rarity, their history, and their story. A 1997 D penny in pristine condition, showing full luster and minimal wear, can already bring in a few dollars. But when combined with a rare mint error, the value multiplies. The most sought-after versions include the double die obverse, die clash errors, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks. When collectors send these coins to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, they receive a certified grade that determines their market value. For instance, an MS-65 1997 D Lincoln penny might be worth around $25 to $50, but an MS-68 could skyrocket past $500 or even $1,000, depending on collector demand. Coins with dramatic visible errors or strong doubling can surpass all expectations, the kind of coins that make headlines in coin auctions and numismatic magazines. The 1997 D penny also holds sentimental and historical value. It's part of the Lincoln Memorial Reverse Series, which ended in 2008, making these coins part of a closing chapter in American coinage history. Many collectors now focus on building complete sets, and finding rare high-quality examples from the 1990s has become a rewarding challenge. If you're wondering how to identify whether your 1997 D penny is special, here are a few tips. First, check the condition. The shinier, redder, and cleaner the coin looks, the better. Second, look closely at the date, the mint mark, and the word Liberty. Use a magnifying glass or a coin microscope to spot any signs of doubling, cracks, or extra metal. Third, check for alignment. If the design looks slightly off-center or the edges are uneven, it might be an off-center strike error. And lastly, if you suspect your coin is valuable, get it authenticated and graded by a reputable grading service. The modern coin market is incredibly active, with collectors from all over the world constantly searching for gems like this. On online platforms and auctions, high-grade 1997 D Lincoln pennies have consistently drawn attention. Prices fluctuate depending on rarity, error type, and demand, but one thing remains constant: rare examples always find eager buyers. So next time you're sorting through your pocket change, take a closer look. That little brown coin might be more than just a cent. The 1997 D Lincoln penny stands as a reminder that even the smallest, most common objects can hold incredible stories and surprising value. If you've ever found a 1997 D penny with unusual markings or perfect mint condition, share your discovery in the comments. You never know, you might be holding a piece worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Thank you for watching Coins, the channel where every coin has a story and every story could change what you think about money. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Coins for more deep dives into rare and valuable coins, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. There's treasure waiting in your pocket, and we'll help you find it. Until next time, keep collecting, keep exploring, and remember that one penny could be worth a fortune. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most surprising and thrilling discoveries in the world of American coinage, the 1998 Lincoln penny. Yes, that small copper coin that most of us overlook every single day might actually be worth a fortune. Some rare examples of the 1998 Lincoln penny have shocked collectors and investors alike, reaching astounding prices that you would never imagine, as high as $787,979.30. That's right, nearly $800,000 for a single penny. So stay tuned until the end because we're going to uncover how this tiny coin, minted over 2 decades ago, became one of the most sought-after treasures in the entire numismatic world. Let's start with a little background. The Lincoln penny, or the Lincoln cent as it's officially known, was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of an actual historical person. Over the years, this little copper piece has gone through many design changes, metal compositions, and mint variations, but one thing has remained the same: the profile of Abraham Lincoln facing right, a symbol of honesty, history, and enduring American pride. Fast forward to 1998, a year that seemed ordinary in coin minting history. The U.S. Mint was producing billions of Lincoln pennies as usual. The obverse still carried Lincoln's familiar portrait, and the reverse featured the Lincoln Memorial, which had been used since 1959. However, hidden among the countless pennies produced that year were a few rare and mysterious coins that would later stun collectors around the world. These special 1998 Lincoln pennies possess certain rare errors and variations that make them incredibly valuable. Now, you might be wondering, what makes a 1998 penny so special? It's not gold, it's not silver, and it's not particularly old compared to coins from the early 1900s. But here's where the story gets interesting. Certain 1998 pennies were struck with what collectors call a wide AM reverse. Normally, on pennies from 1993 to 2008, the letters A and M in the word America on the back of the coin are very close together, almost touching. However, a small batch of 1998 pennies were mistakenly struck with a reverse die that was intended for proof coins, meaning the A and M are spaced noticeably farther apart, a wide AM. This small detail turned an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. This minting mistake was not intentional. It happened because dies meant for proof coins, which are coins specially made for collectors and not for regular circulation, were accidentally used to strike some of the regular circulation coins at the Philadelphia Mint. Only a limited number escaped into the hands of the public, making them incredibly rare today. And the thrill of finding one in your change is what keeps so many people searching, but that's not the only reason the 1998 Lincoln penny is so famous. Beyond the wide AM error, there are also coins with double dies, meaning that certain letters or numbers appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process. When viewed under magnification, you can see doubling in the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust. These rare double die pennies from 1998 can fetch thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars depending on their condition and clarity of doubling. Now let's talk about the composition and history of the coin. The 1998 Lincoln cent is made of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. This change in metal content happened back in 1982 when the rising cost of copper forced the U.S. Mint to switch from the original bronze composition to a cheaper zinc core with copper coating. Even though the 1998 penny might look the same as its predecessors, its lightweight feel and silvery interior under the copper surface mark the difference. But don't let the cheap materials fool you. Its value doesn't come from the metal, it comes from its rarity, error, and condition. Coin collectors often grade these pennies using a scale from poor to mint state. A 1998 Lincoln penny in uncirculated condition, with sharp edges, no scratches, and full luster, can already be worth a few dollars. But when you add in the wide AM variety or a double die error, the price skyrockets. Some have sold at auctions for hundreds of thousands, and the most pristine examples, the ones with flawless strikes, preserved in sealed holders and certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can reach the jaw-dropping value of over $787,000. Imagine turning a single cent into the down payment of your dream house, just because you looked closely enough. The excitement around these coins has sparked a massive treasure hunt among collectors and everyday people alike. Across YouTube, social media, and coin forums, you'll find thousands of videos of people examining their spare change under magnifying glasses, hoping to find that one-in-a-million penny that could change their lives. And yes, it's still possible. These coins are out there, sitting quietly in jars, drawers, wallets, and piggy banks, waiting to be discovered. When inspecting your 1998 pennies, here's what to look for. Flip the coin and look at the word America. Focus on the space between the A and M. If you can see a noticeable gap where the two letters don't almost touch, you might have the rare wide AM version. Next, look at the designer's initials, FG, which appear to the right of the Lincoln Memorial. On the wide AM variety, those initials are crisp and far from the base of the memorial. If you see that pattern, congratulations, you might be holding a small piece of numismatic history worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Another tip for collectors is to always check for sharpness, luster, and the color of the coin. Even the smallest scratch or bit of wear can drastically reduce its value, so handling it carefully is key. Always use soft gloves, avoid touching the surface directly, and store it in a coin holder or capsule to prevent oxidation or damage. But beyond its financial value, the 1998 Lincoln penny carries a story of human error, historical continuity, and the fascinating world of coin minting where even the tiniest detail can transform a simple object into a priceless artifact. It's a reminder that history is all around us, sometimes hiding in plain sight, sometimes jingling in our pockets. So the next time you get change from a store, don't just toss your pennies aside. Take a moment to look closely. Check the date, examine the letters, look for that little space between A and M, or that faint doubling of letters. You might just find a treasure that others have overlooked for years. And remember, every rare coin found by an ordinary person started with just one simple act, taking a closer look. This is what makes coin collecting so magical. It's not just about money, it's about discovery, curiosity, and connection with history. The Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it's a piece of art, a piece of American culture, and sometimes, a life-changing piece of metal that can tell an incredible story. And that's why here on Coins, we love exploring the hidden gems of numismatic history. If you enjoyed learning about the 1998 Lincoln penny and how it could be worth as much as $787,979, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Coins, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world's rarest and most valuable coins. Who knows, your next coin could be the one that changes everything. Thanks for watching Coins, where every cent has a story, and every story could be worth a fortune. Keep searching, keep collecting, and as always, keep shining like a freshly minted penny. Today we're diving deep into one of the most talked about coins among collectors, the 2008 Lincoln penny, a small copper-coated treasure that has captured the attention of millions of collectors across the world. You may think it's just another penny sitting in your wallet, but wait until you hear its story, because this little coin could be worth much more than you ever imagined. The Lincoln penny has been part of American history for more than a century. First minted in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The design by Victor David Brenner was iconic, showing Lincoln's profile facing right, the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. From that time on, the Lincoln penny became a symbol of history, change, and evolution, and by the time we reached 2008 it had already gone through several transformations. But what makes the 2008 penny so special, and why are collectors today paying hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars for certain versions of this coin? Let's start with the basics. The letter D below the date 2008 stands for the Denver Mint, which produced millions of these coins. But here's where things get interesting. Not all 2008 pennies are the same. Some were struck with tiny errors, microscopic differences, and unique features that make them extremely valuable in the coin collecting world. In 2008 the US Mint was preparing for a big design change, because in 2009 they were going to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent. So during 2008 the mint was under pressure, production was high, and small mistakes happened. These mint errors are what turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. Some 2008 Lincoln pennies were struck slightly off center, others showed double die errors, especially on the inscriptions like "I in God We Trust" or "Liberty" or the date 2008. A double die means the die used to strike the coin had an extra impression, creating a shadow like doubling on the letters or numbers. This is one of the most sought after types of errors because it's visible to the naked eye and can make the coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the clarity. Another variation that collectors look for is the 2008 satin finish penny. These coins were part of special mint sets and not meant for circulation. They have a smooth, almost silky finish that makes them look different from the ordinary business strike pennies found in your pocket. Change the satin finish. Pennies are known for their superior quality strike and brilliant surface. A pristine condition 2008D satin finish penny graded MS69 or MS70 by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can easily sell for over $100, while certain error coins have crossed several $1,000s. Now let's talk about metal composition. Before 1982, pennies were mostly copper, but after that year they were made of zinc coated with copper. The 2008D penny follows the modern composition of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, which means they weigh about 2.5 grams, but occasionally a few were accidentally struck on old copper planchets meant for earlier years, and those are incredibly rare. Imagine finding a 2008D penny that weighs 3.1 grams instead of 2.5. That means it could have been struck on a copper planchet by mistake, and such coins have sold for as much as $5,000 to $15,000 depending on condition. Collectors today are fascinated not only by the 2008D penny's design but also its place in history. It's the final full year of the Lincoln Memorial. Reverse the back side showing the famous Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. from 1959 until 2008. This design honored the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, but in 2009 the reverse design changed to 4 different ones representing stages of Lincoln's life, so the 2008 issue marks the end of an era. It's like a final chapter of a long-running story, making it emotionally and historically valuable. When we talk about market prices, the value depends heavily on grade, rarity and demand. An uncirculated 2008D penny in MS65 might only be worth $1 or $2, but if you find one with a major error or perfect grade, it can skyrocket. Recently a few examples have sold on auction platforms for unexpected prices. One specific 2008D penny with strong doubling on Liberty sold for over $700, while another struck on a copper planchet sold for around $15,000. Some even speculate that special mint set coins or those preserved in pristine rolls may hold long-term investment value because of their historical position as the last memorial cents. Let's not forget the human fascination behind coin collecting. Every coin you hold has passed through countless hands, carried stories across time and places, and yet only a few become legends. The 2008D penny is one of those modern legends. It represents transition from the old to the new, from the Lincoln Memorial design to the Birth and Childhood series of 2009, and it's a coin that combines nostalgia, rarity and mystery into one small round piece of metal. So if you have a jar of change lying around or an old roll of pennies from 2008, take a closer look. Examine the details under a magnifying glass. Check the mint mark D below the date. Look closely at the letters and numbers. Do you see any doubling, scratches, die cracks or off-center strikes? If yes, you might be holding something that's worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Remember that condition is everything. A penny that looks uncirculated with sharp details and original shine will always be more desirable than one that's worn and dull. If you're serious about collecting the 2008D Lincoln penny or any coin, always consider grading services. Professional grading not only authenticates the coin but also gives it a numeric grade from 1 to 70, which helps determine its market value. Coins graded MS67 or higher are considered exceptional quality and can sell for a premium. Don't clean your coins because cleaning can destroy the surface and reduce the value. Instead, store them properly in holders or flips to keep them safe from scratches and oxidation. In recent years, YouTube channels, coin blogs and online auctions have reignited the love for Lincoln pennies. Viewers from all over the world are discovering hidden treasures in their change, and some lucky collectors have made big profits from small finds. The 2008D penny is right in the center of that excitement. It's modern enough to still be found in circulation, yet old enough to carry a historical mark, and with its potential for rare errors, it's a perfect coin for both beginners and experienced collectors. Many collectors believe that in the future certain variations of the 2008D penny will become even more valuable as supplies of high-quality examples shrink and demand continues to grow. The story of the Lincoln penny is far from over, and every new collector who discovers it adds another chapter to its rich legacy. So keep searching, keep collecting, and always remember that every penny counts. Sometimes literally your next great find could be sitting right there in your pocket waiting for you to notice it. This is Coins, bringing you the hidden stories of small treasures that could be worth a fortune. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on the latest rare coins, their values and their fascinating history. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your next penny shine brighter than gold. Today, we are going to talk about one of the most talked about modern coins in the numismatic world, the 2014D Lincoln penny. You might think a penny is just 1 cent, but when it comes to rare varieties, minting errors, and collector demand, that same little copper coin can be worth hundreds, thousands, and in some cases, even close to $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. So sit back, because we are diving deep into the incredible story, the mystery, the history, and the market value of the 2014 Lincoln penny, a coin that has taken collectors by storm. The Lincoln penny has a special place in American history. It was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the beloved 16th President of the United States. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent became an instant classic and has remained in circulation ever since. Over the decades, it has gone through a few design changes, from the wheat ears reverse to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959, and then the Union Shield reverse in 2010. Each change represents a new era in American coinage, and among all these, the Denver Mint-marked coins, with the small d under the year, have always fascinated collectors because of their occasional production quirks and rare mint errors. Now, the 2014 D penny may look ordinary at first glance, but this is where the magic begins. In 2014, the U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies. Most of them were ordinary zinc-coated coins, worth exactly 1 cent. But a small fraction of them came out with unusual characteristics, off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and some with a mysterious composition error that made them much heavier or lighter than normal. Some collectors discovered that a few 2014 D Lincoln pennies were struck on bronze planchets, a composition that hadn't been used officially since 1982. These mistakes were never meant to leave the mint, but somehow they did, and now they are among the most sought-after coins of the modern era. The 2014 D penny is also known for a variety where the D mint mark appears doubled or distorted. Experts believe that this occurred due to die deterioration or mechanical doubling during the striking process. Such coins might look almost normal to an untrained eye, but under magnification, you can see that extra shadow or doubling, making them highly collectible. Depending on condition, grade, and rarity, these coins can sell for hundreds to thousands of dollars. Some uncirculated examples have fetched unbelievable prices at auctions, sometimes reaching valuations as high as $787,979, yes, nearly $800,000 for a single penny. Imagine finding one of those in your change jar. The 2014 D Lincoln penny also carries a deeper historical connection. It symbolizes the modern phase of U.S. minting. When technology improved, production increased, yet human and machine errors still found their way into the process, creating these rare anomalies. It's a reminder that even in a world driven by precision, rarity often hides in imperfection. Collectors worldwide are constantly searching for those few error coins that slipped through, because they tell a story that no ordinary penny can. If you ever come across a 2014 D penny, don't ignore it. Pick it up. Check the details closely under a magnifying glass or microscope. Look at the date, the mint mark, and Lincoln's face. Check for doubling around the lettering "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date. Also, feel the weight. A standard modern penny weighs about 2.5 grams, but if yours is heavier, around 3.1 grams, it could be struck on a pre-1982 bronze planchet, which means you might be holding a fortune in your hand. Some collectors have sent such coins to grading services like PCGS or NGC and received confirmation that their coin was indeed struck on the wrong metal, instantly turning a penny into a life-changing discovery. Over time, these coins have become symbols of hope for everyday collectors, proof that you don't need to be rich to find something valuable. All you need is patience, curiosity, and a good eye. Every pocket of change could hide a small piece of history. And in the case of the 2014 D penny, that history could be worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's also talk about the current market. As of now, the 2014 D Lincoln penny standard version is still only worth face value unless it's in perfect condition or has an error. But certified error coins and mint condition proofs are skyrocketing in value. The coin market fluctuates, but in recent years, with increasing interest in modern error coins, prices have been rising. Collectors are especially paying attention to 2014 D pennies with unique die cracks, double strikes, and any signs of off-metal planchets. The coin community has seen sales ranging from a few $100s for minor errors to nearly $800,000 for the most exceptional specimens. That's why even the most common coins in your wallet deserve a closer look. So why is the 2014 D penny so special to collectors? Because it represents that perfect mix of mystery, modern minting, and human curiosity. It's a modern treasure hunt, and you can take part in it without spending anything. Just by examining your change, you might stumble upon something incredible. This is what makes coin collecting such a fascinating hobby. Every coin tells a story, every coin carries history, and every rare find sparks excitement across the collector community. So the next time you receive a handful of change, don't rush to spend those pennies. Take a moment to look at them closely, especially any from 2014 with the D mint mark. Because who knows, that little coin could be the key to an amazing discovery. Maybe the one you find could be the next record-breaking penny, worth more than a luxury car or even a house. That's all for today's deep dive into the world of the rare 2014 D Lincoln penny. If you love learning about rare coins, hidden treasures, and fascinating coin history, make sure to subscribe to Coins, hit that like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss another story like this. Share this video with your friends. You never know who might have a fortune sitting right in their pocket. Thank you for watching Coins, where every coin has a story and every story might lead to a treasure. Keep searching, keep collecting, and maybe the next lucky discovery will be yours.